Welcome everyone to Module 8, Implementation Roadmap. The objective of this module is to give you a clear understanding of the steps involved in implementing IATF 16949, including planning, execution, and preparation for the certification audit. This roadmap will help guide your implementation efforts in a structured and efficient way. It is especially useful for management, the quality team, department heads, and all those who will be involved in the IATF 16949 implementation team. The total duration of this module is approximately 2 to 3 hours, including time for interactive planning discussions. So, let's begin our journey toward a successful and effective implementation of IATF 16949. Let's begin by understanding what an implementation roadmap is. It's a strategic plan that outlines all the phases, activities, and resources needed to achieve IATF 16949 certification. Now, the question is, why do we need an implementation roadmap? Well, for 5 key reasons. 1. Clarity. It provides a clear path from where we are now to full certification. 2. Coordination. It ensures all departments work in alignment toward the same goal. 3. Resource management. It helps in the effective use of time, people, and budget. 4. Risk mitigation. We can identify and manage challenges early. 5. Accountability. Responsibilities are assigned clearly, and progress can be tracked. The key message is IATF 16949. Implementation is not a sprint, it's a journey. It requires commitment, discipline, and teamwork. Think of it like building a house. You need blueprints, standard, a contractor, project manager, a team, departments, a budget, and a timeline. Without a plan, everything becomes chaotic. Let's begin with Phase 1, planning and preparation. The first step is 1. Top management commitment and awareness. The first and most important action is to secure strong commitment from top management, like the CEO, plant head, and department heads. They need to fully understand the importance, benefits, and challenges of IATF 16949 implementation. Example: this could be done through a formal management meeting, where the CEO clearly announces the IATF initiative, explains why it matters, and allocates the necessary resources to support it. Now, moving to the second step. 2. Form an IATF implementation core team. The action here is to appoint a team leader, for example, the quality manager, and bring together representatives from all major departments, like production, engineering, HR, purchase, and sales. Example: a core team might include the quality manager, production manager, design engineer, HR head, purchase head, and sales manager. This core team will lead the planning, coordination, and execution of the IATF implementation. Now let's move to the next 2 important steps in the planning phase. Step 3. Initial awareness training. The action here is to provide high-level awareness training to all employees. Everyone in the organization should know what IATF 16949 is and why it matters. Example: you can conduct short sessions for each department, where topics like why IATF and what does it mean for you are discussed. This ensures everyone is aligned and motivated. Step 4. Selection of certification body, CB. The next step is to select an IATF-recognized certification body. Action: research multiple certification bodies and evaluate them carefully. Example: you can compare proposals from bodies like TUVSUD, SGS, Bureau Veritas, based on cost, reputation, and availability of auditors. Choosing the right CB is a strategic decision, because they'll guide you through the entire audit and certification process. In this phase of the implementation roadmap, we focus on 2 key activities: gap analysis and documentation. Step 5. Conduct a gap analysis. The action here is to compare the organization's current quality management system, QMS practices, with the requirements of IATF 16949 and any customer-specific requirements, CSRS. For example, we may use a checklist to review each clause of the standard, identify missing procedures, or highlight non-compliant practices. This helps us clearly understand where we stand and what needs improvement. Step 6. Develop or update documented information. Based on the gaps identified, we need to create or revise documents like the quality manual, procedures, work instructions, and forms. For instance, this could include drafting a new APQP procedure, updating the control plan format, or formalizing a new document control process. This documentation ensures the QMS is robust and aligned with requirements. Now we move into Phase 3, Implementation and Monitoring, where planning turns into action. 7. Implement. New, revised processes. Action. Roll out the updated QMS across all departments. Example. Train production operators on new work instructions, revised inspection methods, and updated formats. 8. Conduct internal auditor training action. Build an internal auditor team that understands IATF 16949 and audit techniques. Example, select key employees and send them for IATF 16949 internal auditor certification training. 9. Perform internal audits. Action. Run a full cycle of internal audits to evaluate the QMS and catch nonconformities early. Example. Schedule audits for each area, perform them, and record nonconformities to fix before external audit. 10. Conduct management review. Action. Top management formally reviews audit results, customer feedback, and performance. Example. This includes a structured meeting with an agenda, documented minutes, and follow-up actions. Wrap up. This phase ensures your QMS is not just implemented, but actively monitored and improved before the certification audit. Now we move to Phase 4. Certification and continual improvement. This is the final and most critical stretch in the implementation journey. Step 11. Stage 1. Certification Audit. This is the readiness review where we host the certification body, CB, to evaluate if we are audit ready. Any findings from this stage must be addressed quickly to proceed. Step 12. Stage 2. Certification Audit. This is the main audit. The CB will check our system's compliance with IATF 16949. It's crucial that any nonconformities found are corrected within the specified timeframes. Step 13. Achieve IATF 16949 certification. If everything is found satisfactory, we receive the official certificate. This is a major milestone. Step 14. Maintain and continually improve. Certification isn't the end. Now begins the journey of continual improvement. This involves regular internal audits, management reviews, data analysis, and both corrective and preventive actions to ensure ongoing compliance and business excellence. Then comes a discussion question for the audience. Looking at these steps, which phase do you think will be the most challenging for our organization, and why? This is meant to trigger thought and dialogue around practical implementation issues. Let's now understand what gap analysis really means in the context of IATF 16949. A gap analysis is a structured way to compare your current quality management system, QMS, and operational practices with the requirements of IATF 16949 and any relevant customer-specific requirements, CSRs. The goal is to find out what's missing or non-compliant. Now, why is it essential? Baseline. It gives us a starting point. Without knowing where we currently stand, we can't plan improvements effectively. Resource allocation. It helps prioritize where effort, budget, and time should be focused. This way, we use our resources wisely. Scope definition. It clearly outlines what work is needed to bridge the gap. Prevents surprises. By identifying major deficiencies early, it avoids last-minute shocks during audits or implementation. Gap analysis is the foundation for a successful IATF implementation. It tells us what to fix and how to proceed strategically. Now let's move to Step 5 of the implementation roadmap. Identify gaps. Here, we look for areas where there is a deficiency. Maybe a process doesn't exist, it's not implemented, there are no records, or the practice is non-compliant with standards. Step 6 is to prioritize gaps. Once gaps are identified, we need to categorize them based on severity, like major, minor, and also assess their impact on the system. Then, in Step 7, we document the findings. This means creating a gap analysis report, or matrix, where everything is recorded clearly. For this gap analysis, we use various tools such as clause-by-clause checklists, process mapping, interviews with staff, and reviewing existing documents and records. As for who should conduct the gap analysis, it can be done internally by the core team if they have the right expertise. Otherwise, hiring an external consultant is helpful, as they bring an objective perspective. Let's look at a couple of real examples to better understand how to identify and address gaps. First example, IATF Clause 8.5.1.1. Control Plan. The current state says, we have some old checklists, but no formal control plan documents linked to FMEAS. The gap here is that there are no formal control plans developed using a proper multidisciplinary approach. They aren't linked to FMEAs and don't cover all necessary elements. The action required would be to develop a proper control plan procedure, train the team on how to create it, and implement this for all products. Second example, customer-specific requirements. CSR, like Maruti Suzuki's CSR for supplier PPAPs. Current state, we submit generic PPAPs. Gap, the PPAPs don't adhere to Maruti's specific requirements, like the correct format for PSW or statistical data requirements. Action required. Review Maruti's CSR carefully, update the PPAP submission process, and train relevant team members accordingly. Finally, there's an activity or discussion point. We ask the audience to think, if we do a quick gap analysis for management review right now, what are 2 to 3 things we might check? And what's a common gap we might find? Now let's talk about project planning and team formation, which is a crucial part of IATF implementation. First, we follow a project management approach, which means we treat IATF 16949 implementation like a structured project, just like any other business project with clear planning, tracking, and accountability. Then we focus on the key project planning elements. Scope. This covers the entire quality management system, QMS, to meet the IATF 16949 standard and all customer-specific requirements, CSRs. Objectives. These could include getting certified by a particular date and improving some quality metrics, or KPIs. Key deliverables. These are the things we need to produce, like the quality manual, standard procedures, internal audits completed, trained employees, and resolution of any non-conformities. Budget. We need to plan for costs like employee training, consultant fees, certification body CB charges, and software tools. Resources. This includes people, time, and infrastructure needed to carry out the project. So overall, this step ensures that everything is well planned before we start implementing the IATF system. Let's now focus on the team formation part of IATF implementation. First, we need an implementation champion or project manager, often someone like the quality head. This person leads the project, guides the core team and reports directly to top management. The core team members are selected from key departments like production, engineering, purchase, HR, sales, and maintenance. These people bring departmental expertise into the implementation process. Each team member has a role. They must understand IATF requirements related to their area, help implement changes, train their teams, and ensure that documentation and records are up to date. Top management plays a critical support role. They provide direction, allocate resources, review progress, and most importantly, show commitment to the implementation process. Then we have process owners. These are people responsible for individual processes such as purchasing, production planning, etc. Their job is to make sure their processes comply with the standard requirements. Finally, it's very important to have clear roles and responsibilities defined. You can use a RACI matrix to assign who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for each task. This slide gives us a practical look at how to implement what we've learned so far. Start with a project plan. This should include a Gantt chart that outlines each phase of the project, tasks, durations, and how they depend on each other. It's like the master schedule to keep everything on track. The core team meeting agenda is also essential. Meetings should focus on reviewing progress, identifying challenges, and assigning new tasks. This ensures momentum. Next, a RACI matrix snippet is shown here. It defines roles for specific activities. For developing a control plan, the responsible person is production engineering. The accountable is the quality manager. Support is from production supervisors. Top management is consulted. For conducting internal audits, internal auditors are responsible. Quality manager is accountable. All departments are consulted, and top management is informed. This way, everyone knows their role and accountability is clear. Finally, the discussion activity. Ask your audience, if you were part of the core team, what insights or departmental challenges would you contribute? This promotes reflection and helps understand cross-functional inputs better. This slide highlights how essential realistic timeline planning is for successful implementation. First, we stress the importance of a realistic timeline. If your plan is too aggressive, your team can face burnout. On the other hand, if it's too slow, the team may lose motivation and momentum. Balance is key. The factors that influence the timeline include the current maturity level of your quality management system. How far are you from meeting the standard? The availability of resources. Do you have enough people, time, and budget? The complexity of operations. More complicated systems take more time. The number and complexity of CSRS, customer-specific requirements. Lastly, the availability of external support, like consultants or certification bodies, can speed things up or cause delays. The typical implementation timeline is divided into 4 phases. Phase 1, planning and gap analysis, 1 to 2 months. Phase 2, documentation and process development, 3 to 5 months. Phase 3, implementation and internal audits, 4 to 6 months. Phase 4, certification audits, 1 to 2 months, though audit days are usually spread out. Overall, the total time ranges from 10 to 18 months, depending on the organization's maturity. More mature systems may complete it faster, while newer setups take longer. This slide outlines the key milestones your implementation project must achieve to stay on track and ensure certification readiness. Let's walk through each milestone. Top management kickoff signals commitment from leadership and sets the tone for the entire initiative. Gap analysis completion identifies what's missing or needs improvement in the current system. Quality manual approval. This formalizes your approach and becomes a guiding document. all procedures. Developed, revised. Ensures every process is documented and aligned with QMS requirements. Internal auditor training complete. Your internal auditors are trained and ready to assess your system. First cycle of internal audits complete. The system has been tested internally before facing external audits. Management review conducted. Leadership reviews. Progress, findings, and plans for improvement. Stage 1 audit scheduled. This is the preliminary audit to assess readiness. Stage 2 audit scheduled. The final external audit for certification. Certification achieved. Congratulations! You've met the requirements and earned certification. Also, don't forget about monitoring progress. You should regularly track milestones against your timeline, either using simple spreadsheets or more advanced project management tools. This slide gives you a sample 10-month timeline to visualize how the implementation could be paced over time. Let's break it down month by month. Month 1. We begin with top management kickoff, forming the core team and conducting the initial gap analysis. Month 2. Based on findings, we create a gap analysis report and start working on the documentation plan. Months 3 to 4. Focus on developing the quality manual and essential procedures like document control, internal audit, and management review. Month 5. Time to train internal auditors so they are ready for internal assessments. Months 6 to 8. Conduct internal audits, identify nonconformities, and work on NC closure. Month 9. Conduct the management review meeting, a crucial step before external audit. Month 10. Finally, we are ready for the Stage 1 audit. At the bottom, there's an interactive discussion prompt. What are some potential roadblocks in our organization that could impact this timeline? How can we proactively address them? Encourage participants to reflect on past projects or current challenges. Their answers will help build a more realistic and customized timeline. This slide outlines 10 common challenges organizations face during the implementation of IATF, or Quality Management Systems. Let's briefly go through them. 1. Lack of top management commitment. If leadership isn't involved, the project won't succeed. 2. Resistance to change. Employees may resist new responsibilities or processes. 3. Insufficient resources. Not enough people, time, or money to carry out the work properly. 4. Inadequate training. Employees don't understand the why behind changes. 5. Paperwork mentality. Focusing only on documentation without applying the system meaningfully. 6. Complex customer-specific requirements, CSRs. Difficulty in managing varied customer expectations. 7. Poor communication. Departments working in silos, leading to misunderstandings and delays. 8. Weak internal audit program. Not catching issues early, resulting in surprises during external audits. 9. Root cause analysis. Weakness. Not addressing the real reasons for problems, causing them to recur. 10. Lack of continual improvement. Mindset. Thinking of IATF as a one-time activity instead of an ongoing effort. It's important to not only recognize these barriers, but to plan strategies to overcome them. Ask the audience if they've encountered any of these in their organizations. This slide focuses on solutions, how we can overcome the common challenges discussed earlier. Let's walk through these strategies. 1. Strong leadership. Top management must be visible, vocal, and supportive. Their commitment sets the tone. 2. Change management. Engage employees early, explain the benefits, provide training, and recognize even small wins. 3. Resource allocation. Allocate specific time, people, and budget to the IATF implementation. 4. Effective training. Focus on hands-on learning, not just theory, so employees understand how to apply what they learn. 5. Process effectiveness. Help people see that documents are not the goal, but tools to improve performance. 6. Dedicated CSR management. Assign someone to manage customer-specific requirements and ensure clarity. 7. Regular communication. Use status meetings, newsletters, and visual dashboards to keep everyone aligned. 8. Robust internal audits. Train skilled auditors and ensure audits are detailed and insightful. 9. RCA training. Teach teams how to identify true root causes to prevent recurring issues. 10. Foster a culture of improvement. Promote problem-solving and continuous thinking across all levels. These strategies make implementation smoother, more effective, and more sustainable. Opening. Let's look at a typical hurdle that pops up during implementation. Challenge: our production team is too busy. They don't have time for new training. Solution 1. Schedule short, focused training sessions instead of long workshops. Second, hold them during off-peak hours when the workload is lighter. 3. Appoint team leaders as trainers to build ownership. 4. Emphasize that the new process will save time and cut rework in the long run. Facilitated discussion. Ask the group, which of these challenges will be the hardest for us to overcome? What is one concrete action we can take right now to address it? Conclude by noting that early discussions like this create engagement and pave the way for smoother implementation. Section 8.6 focuses on our readiness for the certification audit. The goal is to walk into Stage 1 and Stage 2 fully prepared and confident. Key indicators of readiness: QMS. Fully implemented. Every documented process is being followed every day on every shift, in every department. 2. Records complete and accurate. All mandatory records are current, traceable, and provide objective evidence at a moment's notice. 3. Internal audit program. Mature. We have completed at least one full audit cycle, fixed nonconformities, and verified the corrective actions. 4. Management review. Conducted, top management has formally reviewed the QMS, taken decisions, and issued fresh objectives. 5. Quality objectives on track. Performance data show positive trends against each objective we set. 6th, employee awareness and competence. Everyone knows the policy, understands their role, and can demonstrate competence in the job. 7. Customer-specific requirements met. All applicable CSRs are identified, understood, and fully implemented. 8. Clean housekeeping and organization. A tidy, well-organized workplace is evidence of a controlled system. 9. Mock audit pre-assessment. Ideally, an external consultant has already done a practice audit to expose any final gaps. Wrap-up. If we can tick all 9 boxes, we can approach the certification audit with high confidence. Let's talk about last-minute preparation before the audit. Even if everything is in place, a final check is important to ensure nothing is missed. Key steps to prepare. Review all audit areas and documents one last time. Ensure all the right people are available on the audit day. If required, set up a dedicated room for the audit. Share the audit schedule with all relevant departments and individuals. Reinforce the show me principle. Don't just say something is done. Be ready to show proof. Remind everyone to be honest. If they don't know something, they should guide the auditor to the right person or document. Example: the quality manager may do a final briefing, showing the latest internal audit results, management review minutes, and reminding everyone about key customer-specific requirements. They may also walk through the shop floor to check that 5S and visual boards are properly maintained. Discussion prompt: ask the team, what's one area in our current operations that we need to strengthen to be truly audit-ready? Let's wrap up this session by recapping the key takeaways from our IATF 16949 Implementation Roadmap. First, IATF 16949 implementation is a phased project. It's not a one-time event, it needs careful planning and structured execution. A gap analysis is the very first step. It helps define the scope of work and where we need to improve. Effective project management, having the right team, and clear timelines are essential to success. We must anticipate and proactively handle common challenges that come during implementation. Our certification readiness will depend on solid implementation, strong internal audits, and the commitment of top management. Final message: IATF certification is not just a piece of paper. It's a strategic commitment to building a world-class quality system. This roadmap we've discussed is the guide to help us reach that goal. Q&A now. Let's open the floor for any questions you may have.